What is up, world? Welcome back, Charge the Game podcast, and Shannon Sharpe. He's been dealt the final blow, one of the final blows. It seems like from ESPN sources, people who are close to the Shannon Sharpe inner circle have released statements, leaked statements that he has lost his $100 million podcasting deal. As you guys see here, future of Shannon Sharpe's $100 million podcast deal revealed after star gambled with career by releasing raunchy text. Shannon. Boy, how the pot can call the kettle black sometimes, guys. I just don't know, man. Shannon Sharpe, this media icon, a guy who's worked his arse off to get to where he is. He often talks so much about his upbringing, having no room, house pretty much made of wood. Every time it rained, he would be soaking wet. He had to eat whatever he caught. He grew up very, very poor. One would think, right, that with all of the lessons and everything that his grandmother taught him, and the things that he talks about on national televised programs such as Fox Sports, ESPN, and CBS Sports, seemingly where all these jobs he was terminated from, you would think that Shannon Sharpe would have, a bit more common sense in how to, protect himself. But to lose a $100 million deal days before you inked the contract, I mean, it's a huge blow. It's a huge blow. But we're going to get into it, guys, because we're going to see what these sources are revealing. And we knew that this was coming down a pipeline. I don't know if you guys have been watching Nightcap, but there are, a few content creators who have already gone on the record and said that the emblems from DraftKings and Boost Mobile, a lot of the endorsers and endorsements that Shannon Sharpe, had are no longer supporting him or, investing in him. And it's just sad that a guy who's about to literally lose it all in one of the worst downfalls I've probably ever seen in my life, man. And the worst part is it was his own doing. All right, y'all. So let's break this down. It says Club Shay Shay has attracted millions of listeners and boasts over 4 million YouTube subscribers. You guys already know the famous interview with Cat Williams really put Mr. Sharpe on the map. The network owned by Fox anchor Colin Cowherd recently expiring, right? Insiders say multiple new offers had been on the table. I want you guys to think about this. Shannon Sharpe worked his ass off for 4 million subscribers. You got Nightcap, Club Shay Shay, you got First Take. I mean, the guy Shannon Sharpe was munching checks, guys. He was getting some checks, okay? He still owns, Nightcap, Club Shay Shay, so I'm quite sure he's still going to, do numbers there, but I would not be surprised if those numbers begin to dwindle. He had a lot of support from the sisters, right? Women, and they are no longer backing him as, this thing has gotten ugly, and you already know how women feel. And then on top of that, the sisters were kind of mad that you lost it all to a Caucasian. So, you lost that side of your fan base. And then men like myself who, have a daughter, and me morally, I'm sorry, guys, I just wouldn't stoop that low to be involving myself with a 19-year-old. I mean, I just feel like Shannon Sharpe, he placed a lot of this on himself. He goes on to say, however, the emergence of two separate sexual misconduct lawsuits, which included graphic text message seen by the U.S. Sun, has forced the 3-time Super Bowl winner to step away from appearing on First Take until later this year, which we all know will not happen. I want you guys to look at what Mr. Shannon Sharpe has squandered here, where it says the Denver Broncos legend had been eyeing major six-figure deals for the entire Shay Shay network, which includes Club 520 Podcast, The Bubba Dub Show, and Humble Baddies. I didn't even know that Shay Shay network was over all of this. Great business for you, Shannon Sharpe. Now I want you to think about that, especially all of the young men out there who are, thriving to be successful companions and people in life. You work your whole life, not just the NFL, which is a huge, huge success for Shannon Sharpe. 3-time Super Bowl champion, huge success for Shannon Sharpe. NFL Hall of Famer at the tight end position, broke records, huge success for Shannon Sharpe. But the fact that Shannon Sharpe went beyond that and made himself into a media icon. I'm talking about, I felt like Shannon Sharpe was on that trajectory where after a while, Shannon Sharpe would have just had a voice, right? You got the Morgan Freemans. He has a very distinct voice. Snoop Dogg has a very distinct voice. And we know that Snoop Dogg is a professional stoner and rapper, and he has multiple endorsements because of his voice. He's just Uncle Snoop. You had Uncle Shay Shay, right? Building that brand up. And literally days before you inked the contract, you lose it all. And doing yourself a disservice, man, by releasing those text messages because you were so, in my opinion, I think that he panicked. I think that he jumped the gun. I think that the lawyer did not know what the other side had. And Shannon Sharpe and his representation failed themselves by leaking those texts because you're trying to convince us that this was consensual. How about convincing us on why you involved yourself with a 19-year-old? I'm sorry, you don't come back from that. With all this human trafficking going on, all the Amber Alerts, I don't know about y'all, but every time I see an Amber Alert, I don't ignore it because I have a daughter. And what if I'm in the proximity of what this Amber Alert is calling out? So I just can't imagine me being his age, and I'm only 32. But for me to be 52 or 56 years old, I'm not about to put myself in that predicament. One, I think that it's pervertish. I think that at the end of the day, morally, the things I stand for, I just wouldn't do it. So I feel like just the thought of it and the fact that you released the proof that you were doing this with a 19-year-old, you should have just been quiet, kept quiet. But Shannon Sharpe, who is, in my opinion, a fake media person, a person who has sold his soul to be a part of Hollywood, a person that has to wear multiple caps because he can't live in his real reality. I want you guys to read between the lines there. I just don't understand. Saw the video clip that's going viral of Monique, the comedian, who tried to convince him to date women his age. And he said that he likes them young. He wants to date his wage. Well, $25K a cheek. Definitely your wage. It's $25K plus $25K is $50,000. And now you are on the brinks of coughing up $50 million. I say for her, that's a huge return on investments. Even though she, was violated in a way, obviously, that at this point in time makes Shannon Sharpe looks guilty, even though we know that this could be a money grab. You fell for the okie doke. You literally set yourself up, man. And you go out here and wreak havoc on a guy like Deshaun Watson and call out all of these other guys on Nightcap. You're talking about P. Diddy and this and that, bro. Like, you're doing the same thing. Let me keep going. But a source close to Sharpe, who works on First Take, said the 52-year-old has gambled with his career amid a slew of disturbing allegations from the lawsuit. According to court documents, Sharpe, 56 years old, allegedly violently sexually assaulted and anally raped a 20-year-old woman in October of 2024 as she begged him to stop. And don't ever think that I'm not going to make the video about him refusing to view whatever this young lady had that is literally showing her trying to stop him from doing what he was doing, and he didn't even want to look at it. I mean, this story is something. The U.S. Sun has also obtained a separate lawsuit filed by another of Sharpe's former girlfriends, Michelle Bundy Evans, who I made a video on last week, who claims she was also assaulted. It's over with, Shannon Sharpe. Goodness, man. The demise and takedown of old Shay Shay. Damn, man. Why couldn't you just keep quiet like Skip Bayless, man? Skip Bayless is behind the scenes, from what's being reported, quietly settling. He still does his podcast. Ernestine seems to be happy she ain't going nowhere. Behind closed doors, it could be different. I don't know. We all know that Skip Bayless has a very nonchalant attitude and doesn't really care about people in general, so I'm quite sure he'll be fine either way. Shannon Sharpe panicked because I believe that there was some guilt. I believe now that there was some guilt for you to offer up $10 million to a 19-year-old. You definitely did something, man. It goes on, the podcast deals are off the table. Said the source, Shannon's reputation has ruined everything. Getting all that money is no longer a reality. This sounds like a Stephen A. Smith line here. I wonder if this source is Stephen A. Smith. The insider added that revelations of Sharpe's relationships with a much younger woman has likely turned off any remaining potential investors. So what did I just tell y'all, man? Nobody wants to deal with the creepy uncle, man. And Shannon Sharpe does a great job of putting on this facade to, make people, really believe that, he doesn't like to get in this type of trouble, that, he will never set himself up or fall for these type of things. And lo and behold, guy was being a hypocrite the whole damn time. Out here anally assaulting, right? Allegedly anally assaulting a 19 to 20-year-old at 56. I can't see anyone wanting to work with him now. The sources continue, especially women. And I want y'all to think about that, because women drive a lot when it comes to music, when it comes to politics, when it comes to ratings. I mean, think about it. Any man out there who's dealing with a woman or has a daughter, when a woman asks for something or say, like, let's go to this game, it may not be your thing, but guess what? A woman will convince you to spend your money. That's why they let women into establishments and clubs and bars for free, and they make men pay, because men are physical creatures, right? We're going to pay to make women happy. And that's just kind of like how it goes, right? I mean, we're not literally paying for anything, but you know how it goes, guys. Women make men spend money is what I'm getting at. And check this out, guys. It's saying that the replacement, guys, may have to make a video about this. Go Birds. Let me put my hat on and acknowledge this guy, because all I saw was Super Bowl champions. U.S. Sun understands Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champion Jason Kelce is one of the front runners to replace Shannon Sharpe on First Take as the controversy continues. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I feel like with his personality from the New Heights podcast with his brother, him and Travis Kelce are going to have a future outside of sports, because they just are simply entertaining. I think that Jason Kelce is going to bring a sense of humor, but not with all the extra stuff. Not with all this 1, 2, 3 Lakers and 5 and all this do-rag and lighting up a black and mild. I felt like that was a bit much. So hopefully Jason Kelce is going to represent us the right way. And he goes on to say he's the name on everyone's lips, which will be a great pivot for ESPN, in my opinion. I think that Stephen A. Smith squandered the relationship with Max Kellerman, and I feel like him and Jason Kelce may be able to make a little magic happen. Sharpe is facing allegations from the unnamed woman following the end of their relationship in 2024. On Thursday, he announced he would take a temporary leave. We already made a video about that. Sharpe has denied the allegations, stating he plans to step back ahead of the upcoming NFL season. In court documents obtained by the U.S. Sun, the woman claims Sharpe assaulted her despite her repeated pleas for him to stop. And the last thing that it says on here from one of the ESPN sources, he's effed everything up. It's pathetic. Now, I want you guys to just think about everything that Shannon Sharpe has squandered in the situation he has now found himself, right? I feel like Shannon Sharpe put himself here. Obviously, he had a past. I mean, these are literally court documents. And I understand that a lot of people obviously are going to try to make everything about race. This isn't about race, in my opinion. It never was. I think a lot of people jumped the gun and really wanted to support this brother, but just some things that, black, white, Caucasian, Mexican, whatever race you are, you just can't stand behind as a man, as a woman, as a person. And this is one of those things. This is a corporate job. ESPN and Disney is too big to have this type of representation tied to their name. And on top of that, I wonder how Shannon Sharpe feels. Quite sure he's probably frozen accounts and assets so that nothing can be, taken out of. And even if he does, they're going to find out. But to watch your whole world crumble, to have to explain this to your friends and family, it's just all uncomfortable. To hear your replacement literally days later, it has to be tough feeling, man. So hopefully Shannon Sharpe in this situation, figures itself out. But we will be here continuing to report. And we have more videos coming about this lawsuit, as Shannon Sharpe did not want to view the tape that this Jane Doe has and the proof that she has, which makes this even more further proof that Shannon Sharpe could potentially be very guilty. So you guys tell me what y'all think, man. Y'all drop those comments if you found any value to the video. You already know, guys. Hit that subscribe button. And also make sure you guys are hitting that like button. You're sharing this. And also the notification bell for more future videos. See you guys in the next one. Peace.